Well, hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. In this video, I'm going to be investigating whether I can improve the accuracy of my BRK Ghost. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Roll the titles. Okay, before I continue with this video, then please indulge me. I received a comment from one of the channel viewers, who is it? Bob RAU1. Thanks, Bob. Just reminding me, today is, as I film this, is 20th of May. So yesterday, 19th of May, he reminded me that it was the birthday of the channel. And I've checked, and he's right. Completely passed me by. It was our second birthday, so 2-year anniversary of the channel starting. So I just had a look at some stats or whatever, and in that time, in that 2 years, I've had over 750,000 views, which is just absolutely amazing. Over 102,000 hours of watch time from people like yourself viewing the videos. Now work that out. That's over 11 years of video time, which is crazy. And the current standing on subscribers is 5,860. So if you'd like to give me a 2-year birthday present, let's see if we can ramp up that extra 140 subs that I need to get up to 6,000. So if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, doesn't cost anything. Please just hit the subscribe button. See if we can get the subscribers up over 6,000 for the 2-year birthday. Thanks. Let's crack on. If you've watched any other videos on my channel, you may have seen my Ghost before. I've done a few videos about it, but there's one that I've had on my to-do list that I haven't as yet got round to making, so I thought time was due. When I was at the BRK and Day State Experience Days last year, which is getting on for close to a year ago, I bought a barrel stiffener that goes on the front of the Ghost here, and it's been in my box of bits for ages. And then recently I also bought a pin probe, 177 pin probe, to replace the standard probe on the Ghost as well. Now both of these things, I thought there's a good chance that it would improve the accuracy, so I wanted to do a proper test to see, try and identify exactly how much of a difference it made. So that was the plan for today then, but it actually started yesterday, because I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to make sure that I'm using the most accurate pellet available. So as I had a nice sort of calm day out in the garden yesterday, put a target out of 40 yards just to check which pellet that I was going to use. Now, I made a pellet test video for the Ghost before when I was at Impact Airgun range at 25 yards, and I found that the best pellet at that time was the Air Arms Fields 8.4. But I've since been using the Rangemaster Sovereigns, which are Day State's own pellets, in my Wolverine, and they've been very accurate. So I thought, well, I'll do a test to see how they go in this rifle. And I thought also I'd try the JSB Heavies 10.3s, because may well be that this rifle likes a little bit more weight in the pellet. So the first thing was then to get out in the garden and check what pellet was going to work better at the longer ranges. So let's have a look at that target, shall we? Just a quick look at the my initial pellet test target that I shot out in the garden. It was a calm day, but there was still a bit of a breeze. You can see there we've got 3 5-shot groups of the Rangemaster Sovereigns, same for AA Fields, and the same for JSB Heavies 10.3. I think you can see from that, although this group of the 10.3s is quite good, that's a 10mm group. I think the best performer was the Sovereigns. So yeah, you got a 10mm group there. So that's what I chose for the test. So Rangemaster Sovereigns it was then. Now what I did is obviously you know, if you've watched this channel before, you know that I normally just take pellets straight out of the tin. But because I'm sort of like trying to identify accuracy, and we're going to be looking at sort of probably millimeters difference, I wanted to make sure that we could avoid any sort of flyers or any irregularities due to the pellets themselves. So what I did is I sorted a tin of Rangemaster Sovereigns using my pellet scale, the jeweler's scales, and I selected pellets that weighed between 8.40 and 8.49. So they were all sort of, you know, fairly close in the ballpark of 8.4 grains. Stuck them in a separate tin, and now the pellets that I used for all the tests down the range. So that being said, that being done then, this morning I packed my car up and headed off for the 60-mile journey down to Pete's Airgun farm in Essex. Let's head down there now. I'm down here at Pete's Airgun farm in Essex then, on the 50-yard range. Put some targets out on the back wall, and we're going to carry out our tests and see if we notice, if I notice a significant improvement in accuracy. Here's the setup that we're shooting with today then. See, I've got my bag rider on a little, what do you call them, a lab lift to raise the back to get it on target. We've got a wide stance bipod at the front, and I'm using the MTC Viper Connect scope. In hindsight, probably would have been better using a bigger scope, but because this has only got 12 times magnification, so it's a little bit of a stretch trying to sight the targets at 50 yards with 12 times mag, but is what it is. And then shooting pellets are Rangemaster Sovereigns, 8.44 grain pellets. One of the things that I've noticed, I should have bought a shooting mat with me and I didn't, so this table's quite slippery, and I have found even with the minimal recoil from the Ghost, does slide about on the table a bit. So that combined with the low magnification scope, probably not a good start, but we'll see how we get on. So what I decided to do to begin with then is do a control group, which is basically, you know, shoot the rifle in the conditions you're shooting with no changes, just to set the standard to compare everything else to. And I also put the crony, using the Nate crony, on the barrel to check the power of the rifle before we did any changes, because certainly when I changed the pellet probe over, there was a good chance that it was going to change the power of the rifle, so I needed to be able to identify that change. So let's have a look at the crony results then. So here's the pellet string, the first 4 groups of the rifle before any changes. So the first upgrade then was to change the pellet probe. Now, unusual one this, because when I bought this rifle, I had the 2.2 barrel and the 177 barrel. Now the 2.2 barrel comes with a pin probe, pellet probe, but the 177 barrel comes with this sort of tubular pellet probe with a hole drilled in the underside that aligns up with the transfer port. Now, just recently, I discovered that I could get hold of a 177 pellet probe that was put on the market by BRK, I believe, primarily for using slugs. So I thought, well, there's a good chance that that will improve the airflow down the barrel. So let's have a look at the two 177 probes then, to see the differences. Let's take a quick look at the two pellet probes then. This one at the bottom is the original. As you can see, it's like got a hollow end, and there's a hole drilled in the side of it, and that lines up with the transfer port, which is at the bottom. So the air comes up through the transfer port, hits the inside of the pellet probe, and then changes direction 90 degrees. So not exactly the sort of smoothest flow. And then this is the pin probe, the new version. As you can see, no restriction for the air there. The air can come out of the transfer port and flow straight onto the back of the pellet. So hopefully we'll see an improvement in performance. So with the probe changed over to the new pin probe then, first off I put the rifle through the chrony again. Let's have a look at the chrony results. So you can see there has been a bit of an increase in the power, but it's still below sub 12 foot-pounds, which is good news. So let's take a look and see what happens with the shot string on the target. Again, 4 groups of 5 pellets. The second upgrade then is installation of the barrel stiffener. So let's have a look at the differences between the two, and look at what happened when I shot the 4 groups on the target. Right, I'm going to go fitting the barrel clamp now. So this is the original bit that went on the rifle. I've had to take the barrel off to get it off, but it was just turn it around the right way. There was just a couple of screws in the top, and then that drops out if you take the cylinder off. And then this one, you can see the difference. You've got a clamp at the bottom, and it's actually a little bit narrower. So we're gonna stick this one on and tighten it up and see if it makes a difference. Well, there's the barrel tensioner back on, then barrel's back in, the bottle's back on. One thing that I did find, these screws here, the tightening screws that tighten that band at the bottom, around the bottom of the barrel, I couldn't get my torque screwdriver in these slots, so I've basically just had to use the end, the method where you use the short end of the Allen key to tighten up as much as you can. Hopefully that will be tight enough to make a difference. I was advised actually that you don't need to torque these up that much, that they work better just sort of like starting to bite, so we'll see. So let's give it a go and see if it makes a noticeable difference. Now, while I was at the range, I thought, well, you know, we got to see whether the accuracy improvements are attributable to the power increase. So what I decided to do was I decided to do a final shot string, just one 5-shot group at each setting, with the power wheel adjustment, and beginning with adjusting the power wheel down so that the power output of the rifle is the same as before the rifle was before I did the modifications. So I found that if I adjusted the wheel down to setting 15, I think it was setting 15, that I got the same feet per second muzzle velocity as I got from the start. And then shot groups, turning the power up until I finally got up to maximum power to see what difference it made. So let's have a look at those groupings. Well, finally used up all my selected pellets, so it's time to pack up and take a look at the results, I guess. So we're back from the range. Then you've seen all the shooting sequences, the shots going down range on the target. So just let's have a quick look at the target itself in detail to see what we can determine from it. Let's take a closer look at the results at the target I shot down the range then. First off, starting out with the control group, which was the rifle as standard when it arrived at the range before I made any upgrades. Just as a reminder, you can see here that these circles, these are 20mm diameter circles. And just to point out here, this group of 5 shots, please ignore this. All will be revealed later in the video why there is a group at the top there, but it's nothing to do with this first string of shots. As usual with me, for some reason it takes me at least one group to settle down. So you can see as I got into it, the groups improved a bit. So we'll ignore that first one. Best group of the lot, this one at the end, the last group. And I think you can see there that, yeah, that is clearly a 15mm group, 5 shots inside 15mm at 50 yards. So not too bad. Let's take a look at the row of groups then after I changed the pellet probe. You can see on that first group, that's probably the first group of 5 shots is probably the best of the bunch here. That's clearly easily a 10mm group, 5 shots in 10mm at 50 yards, sub 12. That's pretty good. The rest are let down by the odd shot, really. I mean, I've got 4 shots in here in 15mm with this one flyer here. Don't know what happened there. They've spread out a bit, one high, one low. Again, 3 shots in 10mm. And then we've got these 2 that missed a bit there. So we had 3 shots in 10mm, 4 shots in 15. But clearly the first group was the best group, and that was a definite improvement on the control group. So that being said, looking generally, you can look at these groups, and these groups are generally tighter together than the first group. Okay, the power was up. We'll look at you know how important that increase in power is later on. Okay, the third group then, this is the addition, after I fitted the probe, this is with the addition of the barrel stiffener. And I just need to explain this group up here. I started shooting at this target, didn't realise, you know, if you take the barrel off of a gun and then put it back on again, chances are you need to re-zero the rifle. And I didn't do that. I started shooting at this target here and wondering where my shots were going, because I couldn't see from back at the shooting table 50 yards. When I closer inspection of the target, I realised aiming there and they were shooting up there. So I then had to do what I should have done at the beginning and re-zeroed the rifle, and then we started again. So as you can see here, I think it's pretty obvious the consistency and the accuracy has definitely improved. I mean, really in these groups, there's only this one flyer here. Everything else is fairly consistent. Best group is this one, the third group, which again is a 10mm group. You've got 4 shots in 10mm there with one just little outlier, and that is easily a 15mm group. This one went a little bit crazy, but so that's easily a 15mm centre to centre. So I mean, I'm fairly happy looking at that the addition of the probe and the stiffener has improved the consistency and reduced the number of flyers. So I'm quite happy with that. And finally, let's look at the adjustments with the power wheel. Now we start here with the power wheel on the Ghost set to 13, and at 13 through the chrono I was getting the same power as I got from the start group. So let me go up here. That's the power level at this group at the front here. And you know, this grouping is very similar to those, which is interesting. And then as you see, as I up the power wheel back up towards maximum, you notice that the pellets start rising up because of the increased muzzle velocity, but the groups do tighten up a bit more till we get to 18 and maximum here. So clearly it does like to be shot at that maximum velocity with the pin probe, pellet probe in it. Got one outlining pellet there, but again we've got, you know, 4 pellets in 10mm here, again 4 pellets in 10mm and one outlier. So that was quite interesting just to see the effect there. Well, there you go then. Not a bad rifle, is it? You know, I mean, it was pretty good considering, you know, 50 yards, pretty good groupings right from the start. But you can see definitely the groups definitely tightened up with those changes. I really need to go and do that shoot again. Now this has all been done, to see what this is really capable of, how small I can get those groups at 50 yards. With a rubber mat so that the gun doesn't slide about, and a decent sized scope so I can actually see the targets and see the ball and make sure that I'm lining up in exactly the same place each time. But you know, well happy with this. Performed really well, as you can see. So, you know, what more can I say? BRK Ghost, excellent rifle. I've said it before, it makes you look good. Well, that's all I've got for this one then. I want to thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed that video or found it interesting, please give me a thumbs up. It does help out the channel, doesn't cost you anything. And also, I know from my analytics that at least half of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. Please, again, doesn't cost you anything. It's just a question of you clicking on the subscribe button. And it really does help out the channel, because it makes sure then that YouTube shares this video or suggests this video to other people who might be interested in watching it, which would be great. And also I'm chasing 6,000 subscribers. So, you know, the more of you subscribe after this video, the nearer I get to that target, which will be tremendous. So again, thanks for joining me. Hope you found that interesting. Hopefully I'll see you along at the next one. So from me, Bye for now.